Hi, everyone. Welcome. Can you hear me? Great. Thank you. So thank you all for coming. I know it's a very interesting time for everybody. I hope everybody is safe and taking care of your families and doing what you got to do as humans and uh, as members of families. And then now we're here to talk about business, but take advantage of this time that we have where everybody can be thinking about bigger and different things for their business. So I want to start with something funny. Just I happened to see this today. Everyone's dealing with being on conference calls. So these are all the comments that happen when people are on conference calls. So I will send this around when I send around the rest of the slides. But it just I got a kick out of that this morning because I think all of those have happened to me at least on one call a day since this all happened. So today, what are we going to be doing? We want to think about what's next for your business. Again, taking advantage of this time that we have to really build for the future, and then how to take advantage of the relief packages that the government is offering. I have been talking to a lot of business owners, and there's some confusion around this, what to do, what are the packages, where to go. So this is really, we're going to spend a lot of time on that today, get into the nuts and bolts of it, and really take advantage of that for your business. And then at the end, we're going to talk about how to align your business with your actions, both inside your company and outside your company, and talk about how you can get from where you are and now with the new set of circumstances to where you want to be. And then we're going to make sure that you've got the right team in place, going to have you think about those kinds of things. And then who are the right customers or clients for you to pursue when business picks up and things return back to normal. I will email everybody on the call today. There are over 50 of you that signed up. I will send you all the slides from today, so don't feel like you have to take feverish notes. And I've got a list of resources at the end with some really good links for information that you can get about the government relief packages. And then if you could, in the chat room, let me know your concerns in terms of what you are most worried about right now, things that are impacting you, and we'll try to address those as well. And also, just for fun, let us know where you're here from too, where you're checking in from. I know that we've got people in every time zone, so thank you again for coming. Hopefully, everyone will be able to benefit from this. Oh, Los Angeles. Hey, Brendan, how are you? Got Arizona in the house. Boca Raton, Florida. Jake Gottsagen, thank you. So who am I? And from OC, hi Martha. So who am I and why am I doing this? Well, for the last 10 years, I've been helping small and medium-sized businesses helping them with their business development, finding new sources of revenue, new business and strategic partners, and also advising them strategically. And so, drawing on my background from media and from banking and the entertainment business, done deals across a variety of sectors of all sizes, ranging from the hundreds of millions to the tens of thousands. And through that, I've gained some experience in how to help companies grow and think strategically about where they're headed next. Who am I not? I'm not an attorney. I'm not an accountant. So it's important when you take in some of this information, if you need to figure out what your next move is, you're going to need to talk to an accountant or a lawyer. And I think that what we might do next week is bring in bookkeepers and accountants, and maybe even an expert on SBA loans to help companies even more. So if there's interest in that, we can do that. So tomorrow is uncertain, right? We don't know where things are. We know where things stand today. Where they stand tomorrow could be completely different. The thing that we've got to keep in mind, though, is that the future is always uncertain. And so that we as business owners and leaders and heart-centered uh, business owners, we need to take in all the information that we can and then assess our next move. So the purpose today is to talk about what the new normal might be and what is our way into that. And like I said, we're going to spend a lot of time on the government relief programs because right now that's a known that we have, and we want to be able to take advantage of that. So that's really where we're going to spend some time, and we can get into those relief packages right now. You may have heard that there were several phases of the package. So far, there's been 3. I think there will be several more coming down the pipe as more impact is made on the economy and on our world and in the health of everyone. The first phase really was geared towards towards the medical emergency and getting the vaccine handled. And as you know, there's progress being made on that. Phase 2 was an emergency sick leave benefit for companies, mostly for small companies, and mostly done as tax credits. The bigger plan, which we're going to talk about today, is phase 3, which is the CARES Act. $2 trillion being put into the economy, much of which is earmarked towards small businesses, which is what we're going to talk about today. So there are 3 components of the CARES Act: the Payroll Protection Plan. Again, that's where we're going to spend most of our time talking about the benefits of that to small businesses today. The payroll tax deferral, we'll talk about that at the end. You can't really take advantage of that if you take advantage of the payroll protection plan. We're just going to take a couple of minutes to talk about that, but not have it be a major focus. And then the third is support for larger businesses, businesses of 500 or more. Doesn't really seem to be appropriate for us to be talking about that given who we have on the line, and that's not really my expertise either. So we're going to be focusing on the payroll protection plan. Companies that are eligible for this, businesses that are fewer than 500 employees, must have been substantially affected by the virus. That seems to be everybody, so I wouldn't worry about fulfilling that requirement too much. And the requirements are very broad, as you can see here: supply chain disruptions, staffing challenges, decrease in sales, which I think is most customers, and now in most states, shuttered businesses. So the loan amounts, and this is where a lot of people have questions: a maximum of $10 million or the lesser of 2.5 times your average payroll. So if your payroll is $50,000 in a month, you are entitled to $125,000 worth of a loan. So you take your last 12 months from April 1st or whenever you apply for the loan, and these loans are not available yet, but for sake of conversation today, we're going to talk about April 1st until last April 1st. Okay, so you take those 12 months, you average your payroll, and you multiply that times 2.5. If you weren't in business in 2019, you can take January and February's average payroll and multiply that times 2.5. And you can add in any disaster loans that you've already received as part of this. The SBA, do you need to pay the loan back? We're going to get into that. Someone just asked, do we need to pay the loan back? We're going to get into that. There are some forgiveness provisions that we can talk about. And if you fulfill those, you do not have to pay it back. So we'll talk about that in a second. Thanks for your question. There were some disaster loans through the SBA that we will also get into that some people applied for before this. And if you applied for that and you are looking for to refinance that, you can add that into your package as long as it doesn't as long as it doesn't reach more than 10 million. What can you use this money for? For payroll, employee salaries up to $100,000. So if someone makes 125,000, you are able to pay them 80% of their 80% of their salary with this, but you're limited to employees below 100,000. But if they make more than 100,000, you can just prorate it underneath. You can pay your mortgage or interest, mortgage interest payments or rent, utilities, interest on other debt, and like I said before, you can refinance any other disaster loans that you have. We have a question about, do you have to have technical payroll? What if you're independent contractors? Independent contractors, if you pay independent contractors, it's a little bit tricky. You can get a loan for that amount, but you may not, it potentially won't be forgiven. And we'll get into that in a second. And we'll get into it. We'll get into it right now. So the amount equal to your payroll continuity for the next 8 weeks. So if you were, again, to get the loan on April 1st, any amount that you pay for payroll for the next 8 weeks after that is forgivable. Okay, so tomorrow you asked that question. If you have $100,000 worth of payroll for the next 8 weeks and you got a $125,000 loan, $100,000 of that would be forgivable, assuming that you have the same payroll from March 1st until June 30th of this year. So you've got to maintain those employees. The purpose of this bill is to protect people's employment. So you've got to keep the same number of people employed through June 30th that you had before this crisis started. If you downsize your team or downsize your payroll, then your forgiveness is prorated based on that. So if you had 10 employees before the crisis and after the crisis you have 8, then 80% of that would be forgiven. Is that clear? That can be a little bit confusing. So if anyone has questions, please ask. Yes, Tamar just brought up a point. It's designed to protect from March 1st to June 30th. It's exactly right. But the payroll that goes against the forgiveness is only for the first 8 weeks of the loan origination. Good deal here. They're non-recourse loans. They're not personally guaranteed. They haven't established the exact rate yet, but it will not exceed 4%. And they're going to be issued by SBA banks. So if you have a relationship with a banker, I would encourage you to talk to them now. They're going to be swamped when this comes out. And so you can just sort of log your interest with your banker and let them know that you're going to be doing that. I have relationships with SBA loan experts, so I can help you with that if you need it. But if you have a relationship with a banker, I would encourage you to talk to them, because these will be distributed through traditional banks that have relationships with the SBA. There's some other things that are going on through the government, but not necessarily through this program, and I wanted to let you know about them. There are disaster loans that you can get up to $2 million on. Those are available now. So there's a link in the resources that I've got at the end of this presentation to show you where to go to get that information and where to apply for that loan. So I would encourage you to do that, because the other one is not available, and you can refinance this through the new loan. There are also emergency grants if you need payroll of up to $10,000 that will help some small businesses, and that there's almost no paperwork for that. So if you need payroll assistance right now, you can go to the SBA and get a $10,000 loan. And loans on where I mentioned under the PPP, there's no personal guarantee. These, there's a personal guarantee except for loans that are under $200,000. Non-SBA relief, there's been some federal tax dates that have changed. There are also state dates that have changed, so I'd encourage you to check with your state tax board. You can also work with your utilities. Reach out to the electric company, to water, to electricity, and see what they're doing for clients. And then other B2B service providers, they're in the same boat. They're going to need help from their suppliers, so they're going to be willing to work with you. Also, talk to your landlords. Many people are, I can't give you this advice here, but many people are saying not to pay your April rent and to start to work with your landlords. So it depends on the relationship with your landlord, but many landlords are either reducing rent or creating abatements or working on plans to help businesses until the new money comes in from the government. So look at that. And then there are a bunch of other tax benefits too. And I'm hearing Judy, thank you for that. Judy, who works for a REIT, saying that many landlords are deferring rent for 90 days. So take advantage of your relationships with your landlord and reach out to them and see what they're doing if you haven't already. Many people that reached out to their landlords in the beginning of this crisis did not receive notes back from their landlords simply because their landlords didn't know what their plans were, but it's starting to come into view now. So I would encourage you to reach out to them again if you did once already. And then talk to your accountant or bookkeeper. There are other tax benefits that you can take advantage of that are part of these government relief packages. So there's a lot out there. Like I said, there are resources at the end of this presentation that I will send to you. Lots of great links, lots of great information. And this is a good time to think about what's next for your business, because there is money coming in to help you, whereas a couple weeks ago, we didn't know if that was going to be the case or not. Who's got questions about the relief package? Some people sent them in already, and I believe we addressed them. Are there other questions about the relief package? Anyone? Okay. Type in your questions if you do, and I will try to address those either now or later to you personally. So we now know what the framework looks like of the package and what the government relief is. So now where do you go from here? Well, one of the things that I work with my business owners on is being heart-centered leaders and thinking about how do you decide which package to use. It seems like there's overlap. All right, Tamar, we'll get to that in 1 second. Let me just get back to this page that we're talking about, and we can address it. I encourage my clients to really lead with their heart, right? In fact, it started when I was trying to write more and thinking about writing from my heart and then editing with my head. And I realized that as business leaders, we can be doing the same thing. What feels right for us for our next move? What feels right for us for what's next? And then how do we use our brains, our knowledge, and our relationships to make that happen? So we're going to lead with our heart and then use our brains to help be the nerve center and the operations to make that happen. I saw this quote yesterday and I thought it was appropriate to bring on to this presentation. In the rush to return to normal, use this time to figure out which parts of normal are worth rushing back to. Okay? Take advantage of this time in your business and in your life to think about what are we scrambling for and what are the things that are really important that are either going to drive your dream forward, drive your business forward, and do it in a way that's efficient and, again, that's going to feed you and comes from the heart. And I put the quote over something called spiral rush, which is a kind of grass that can grow in basically any environment. So I thought that was appropriate, because if we're going to think about where we're going to have to be able to do that in an environment that is uncertain and potentially a little bit scary. So we're going to help you go from your head to your heart. And I would love for everyone to think about what is, and really feel into themselves and envision what the next 3 months really look like for them. What do you want to accomplish? Look through the fear and uncertainty and feel deep down what these next 3 months can be for you, and figure out a way just to get through the fear, and don't worry about how you're going to accomplish this. And think about what your business is, and you can think about what your business is, but really feel what you want from that business and what your vision for that is now. And then think about what the next year will bring. We're going to get out of this. We're going to get through it. And I want you to feel into and envision what that next year is for you, again, from your heart. And even though I keep using the word think, I want you to feel it, and I want you to get to where you're going by your heart, and we'll use your brain to get you there later. So be thinking about those things, and we can help you get from where you are to right now in this sense of unknown to the place of where you want to be. And Martha just chimed in with, she lost her biggest client and feels that they were not aligned, so it's a time to recalibrate. We talk a lot with our clients about alignment, and with aligning your heart's desire with your greatest skill set and what you have to offer to people, and building your business and your new client sets of clientele that way. So Martha, that's a really good point, and it is a great time to recalibrate. So once you've established where you want to go, heart-centered businesses and heart-centered business leaders all have a clearly articulated objective. Where do we want to be? Where is our heart telling us we want to be in X amount of time? At the end of this crisis in 3 months, at the end of the next year, what do we want our business to look like? And then the mindset required to achieve that objective, right? So thinking about what we need to bring as business owners to this to really make it happen. And then outlining the tasks. It really becomes an order of operations kinds of things. What do we need to do to get there? Now we're starting to build our brain into this, and to start to think about what are the things that need to happen to achieve that objective. What's the team that needs to be in place to complete that task? Again, is their vision aligned with yours? Is their skill set aligned with yours? I like to hire based on chemistry, and will allow the skill set of the person to develop around what is needed, because I think that the kinds of people you bring into your business are as important as what they do. Hearing from Sophie, who's developing an app that's going to serve one purpose, but with the current scene, they're talking about a slightly different turn that will be much better. Again, they're taking advantage of the time that we are in now to align their vision with really where the world is headed. So we talk about building the team that will help you complete that task. And then we integrate processes and systems to help that team work efficiently. There are many businesses that had a plan when they first started, right? Mike Tyson says everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face. No one really looks at their business plan after they've started business, because they get down into the weeds and processes and systems break down. This is a really good time to take a look at the systems and processes that you're using to help you achieve your goal. And then as managers, how are we guiding the process? Right? I think there are 3 steps to success. One is determining what you want. The second is putting in place the systems and the processes to achieve that. And then the third thing as managers is managing our energy and managing those systems where you're essentially managing the manager. So putting those systems in place so that they can run smoothly, and then you're just pushing on the right levers to make sure those systems work properly for you. And then the measurement tools. I've been working with a lot of clients whose books are all over the place and they have no monthly reporting that allows them to manage. And you cannot manage what you cannot measure. So we've been working with clients to create systems and dashboards so that they can see where they are in any given moment to help them establish a baseline to help them know where to go from there. And then, of course, at the end, everyone needs to be rewarded for their success. So what we do is we take these 8 steps and we actually break them down for the business owner to help them figure out exactly what needs to be done within each step. And then we do the same thing for each level of management for them to think about what they need to succeed to meet their objective that feeds into the overall objective of the company. So again, helping people get from, and businesses get from where they are now in this time of unknown and crisis, to having their vision and their objectives met. So I've got these slides that I will be emailing to you, and these are 8 things that you should be thinking about during this time. Again, the loan and the government relief, that's something that you should be doing in terms of just blocking and tackling the sort of the nuts and bolts of the business. But now to start thinking strategically about what's next for your business, these are the elements that you need to be thinking about. I am offering a free hour-long strategy call for anyone on this call. This is how we kick off relationships with all of our clients, is we talk through those 8 elements with them to help determine which way they want to go. And if it makes sense for us to work together, great. And if not, fine. But they've been helped with those 8 areas or given them things to think about. We find value in doing that. I really love doing this. I really love helping businesses and help people meet their objectives. And this is a great way to do that. So if you're interested, email me and we can set up a call. And I'm really grateful that you've all been here today. It's a scary time for people, and to have over 50 people chime in and participate means that we are on the way as heart-centered leaders to transforming the business world. So please let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to email me. Here is a list of resources that I will send out to everybody. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce has a bunch of things, and Forbes also has a list of local programs. So I would take advantage of those as well. One of the things that summarizes what I talked about the government program itself is the summary PDF through the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. I really like that. It consolidates everything I talked about in a really easy to read form. And these other resources, like I said, I will email to you, can be helpful to you. If there are no other questions for the group, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. I wish you luck in your business. I wish everyone good health, and I hope that you're taking care of yourselves and your family. And please, please, please stay home, and let me know if you need anything while you're home. Thank you all so much.